Our first month in Maine has been great. We stayed in an Airbnb in Rumford, explored nearby lakes, forest lands, towns, and coastline. Oh, and LL Bean. We met some of the locals and learned what we could about living in this part of the United States. More importantly, we learned where the best places to eat are. When we inquired about extending our time at the Airbnb in Rumford, we learned that it had been booked during October, so we began to look for a place not too far away. I was able to secure a place 60 miles away in Beecher Falls, Vermont. So October 4th, we packed up and drove to Vermont. And what a drive it was. As beautiful as the scenery was in Maine, it only got better as we made our way to Vermont. Driving through remote areas of beautifully colored forest land was nothing short of breathtaking. The only sound heard was the wind blowing the leaves. We stopped for a while and took in the view of God's fall creation. Soon afterward, we found ourselves driving into New Hampshire. Then we were driving in Vermont. Then we were in New Hampshire again. And then we were back in Vermont. We located our rental cabin, and it was ever so nice. We got settled in, and shortly following that, we met the cabin owner. He is a local fellow who works for his father's logging company, and he also owns the local gas station. The only gas station in town, as a matter of fact. Fred, the owner, is a good guy and hit it off with Tim immediately. They talked for over an hour about logging, hunting, fishing, and why he is passionate about this lovely area he calls home. Now, let me go back to that part about where we were driving into New Hampshire, then Vermont, then New Hampshire, then back to Vermont. As I mentioned, we're staying in Beecher Falls, Vermont, which, by the way, is the birthplace of Ethan Allen. The original Ethan Allen furniture plant is here and still in operation. Beecher Falls has a population of 177 people. It is the very northeasternmost point of the state. A 10-minute walk from our cabin will take you either to New Hampshire or the Canada border, depending on whether you turn right or left. This area of the country has been given a special gift. Time stopped here quite some time ago. For lack of a better term, being here is eerily wonderful. The countryside is lovely. Buildings are old yet still in use. The town speed limit is 20 miles an hour, and the people drive 20 miles an hour. Everyone knows everyone, and they go out of their way to speak whether they know you or not. The one guy who works in the Beecher Falls post office was glad to take time to give information about the area to us. Our lives, if only for a brief period, have been taken back in time, decades, and it's good. So we're staying in a cabin in Vermont. We could walk into Canada through the woods, and if we threw a rock across the river in front of our cabin, it would land in New Hampshire. Oh, and the river in front of our cabin is the Connecticut River. Directly behind our cabin is a wonderful ATV trail that can be used for ATVs, bicycling, snowmobiling, and hiking. It's a beautiful scenic walk into town and beyond. There are speed limits for the ATV riders on the trail when it approaches homes, and the riders adhere to the limits. The Canada border is not busy here, and we walked up to the U.S. side to take a look. The border patrolman spent an hour talking with us and telling us about his job. As it turned out, he was a volunteer forest firefighting crew member sent to Idaho in September 1994. And Tim was on a forest fire in a section of Idaho in September of 1994. So as it turns out, believe it or not, Tim and this border patrolman were on the same fire in the same place 27 years ago in Idaho, and now they're discussing it in the same place here at the U.S.-Canada border 27 years later. As the border patrolman said, "This is giving me chills talking about it." Well, that's all of our video for today. I just wanted to let you know to tune back in a couple weeks for our Halloween edition.